In this video, I quickly would like to show you two very basic ways how we can create more organic looking furniture. Tables and drawers, most times are rectangular. Chairs, for example, are not always. I have an office chair, which is roughly 20 inches by 20 inches on its seat base. So for example, somewhere I could create a rectangle, 20 inches, tab, 20 inches, enter. This, for example, would be now representing my chair. The corners are, for example, a little bit rounded. So I could go to fillet, press R, and I think it's roughly in the front maybe 6 inches. Enter, and then click on an edge and an edge, spacebar, edge, edge. And then the back, for example, has smaller radius. There is a small backrest, actually 20 inches, 19 inches wide and roughly 6 inches deep. Can do, for example, same now. This actually looks a little bit big for the representation, so I'll do it this way. And the radius is too big, so I might have to change it, maybe 2 inches. Oh, this is still going to be too big, so 1 inch. Yeah, bar. See, there, this works better. Okay, now I would like to position this one correctly. Can maybe use the midpoints quite easily. This object, spacebar from the midpoint to the midpoint, and maybe move it down a little bit. And then let's go to the correct furniture layer. Okay, so that worked pretty well, but looks very boxy. Let's try to do the same actually with a more organic looking shape. So I can create myself again a reference box, 20 inches by 20 inches. And maybe from the midline to the midline, I'm creating myself just a reference line. And that one is just for my own visual reference. So 6 inches. And for example, nope. What did I do? There are 4 inches. Bar. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is actually I'm going to use the spline CV. And what I have to do first is actually maybe make some test drawings and figure out maybe how many points I need. Because at the moment I don't really know that. So I can, for example, keep endpoint turned on and, for example, snap from there to there. I know maybe here I might need a point, maybe a point there, a point there, maybe something here, and I know there and there I will definitely need a point. Enter. And there's, for example, now my CV. And notice actually here I forgot to add a point, so add vertex. Oh, okay. The vertex got added to the wrong direction, but that's not a big problem. I can simply now reposition all these points. So this one should go to there. This one maybe I bent out a little bit. So for example, here this point I moved in a little bit to there. And let's move this one out, so you can compare. So you see like this side is slightly sloped. I have a bigger and a smaller radius. They are at an angle. What's actually important for you to see is that those 2 points at the beginning and the end are actually parallel to the mirror plane. And that's really important because when I go ahead And with the mirror tool, mirror my side and enter, it looks like it's a nice and smooth transition. If, for example, you have something like this, oops, there, enter, and I mirror this, you see it's actually pretty pointy. The main reason is that the second and the first point and the first and the second are not, again, to this mirror plane perpendicular. So if I move this one down, you get something that's called tangency in terms of curvature. So how this curve flows into the mirror curve. And that's how you do it. Simply 2 points on each end, parallel or perpendicular to the mirror plane. And then this one actually we can delete. So for example here, to redraw this one quickly, we can do the same. So for example, I can go and say, maybe, actually, hold on. Where's there? Midpoint, good. And let's go back to here and say from this point, move out 1, 2, 3, 4, and I see I try to make the steps, the amount of clicks, very even. So, and now what I can do is actually I can select maybe those points I push in a little bit. Again, I try to maintain that those points to the mirror plane will be perpendicular, and then those endpoints at the corner, for example, I move down 2 units on my grid, and you see then that the ends actually start to arc a little bit. That's the trick. Pretty simple. And then mirror this one over. Those we can join, and maybe move it up just a notch. So from this grid to there, there. This one we can delete. Join. And there's our quickly sketched office chair. And you see this one already looks much more comfortable and less, yeah, basic like that one. Now those 2 lines we can easily group. So whenever I click it, I click all objects at the same time. If I rotate it, I rotate everything at once. It's pretty nice. Okay, so that's, for example, how I quickly created the chair. Now what's left is actually doing some text. So I could, for example, go to the multi-line text, manage text styles, and for example, maybe create a new one. Let's say furniture, just for the exercise. And let's give this one a height of 3 inches. And maybe let's set this one italic. Apply, and close. Maybe here rewrite work table, and then maybe here we can write chair and cabinet. We can adjust this one a little bit. Maybe make this one actually 1 line, so it's easier to read. And then click and drag. That's the way how I'm positioning it. And specifically here, try to be nice and clean the way how you organize your text elements. And that's it. So if I would like to adjust the text, again, we are using the furniture styles. I could go manage styles, go to furniture, and at one point, for example, say, well, maybe 2 inches will be enough, and maybe make it bold instead. I close. And you see then everything got changed. And then maybe you say, no, I rather like to go back to italic. That's a really nice way how to adjust, for example, the styles for your text.